So you know what people love about professional wrestling? The actual wrestling. And in the past 50 plus years of WWE, they put on some great matches for the WWE Universe to enjoy. And then of course there's some that are not so good. But as for the good ones, there are moments in these matches that have lived on and are embedded into the WWE fans' brains forever. Everyone remembers when Hogan slammed Andre, when Shawn kicked Bret, when Austin and The Rock stole the show, and when CM Punk left the show. Twice. But with that being said, WWE in the past 50 years has put on some great matches. But there's this dimension out there that exists, all of the matches that could have been between some of our favorite superstars. And since I, professional wrestler R.L Smith, have not yet become powerful enough to bend time and space and get us into another dimension, unfortunately, we're still stuck in this one. Sorry, guys. With that being said, though, the WWE had these scheduled matches that were canceled for one reason or another. These matches had the potential to have the longevity and same effect on the WWE Universe as some of the well-known matches of today. In 2006, at the Night of Champions pay-per-view, we were going to see CM Punk versus Chris Benoit for the not-so-extreme Championship Wrestling World Championship. But unfortunately, tragedy struck the Chris Benoit home, and we never got to see that match. Now, regardless of how you feel about Chris Benoit, during his professional wrestling career, he was one of the best technical wrestlers in the world. At that time, rising star CM Punk, we were going to see the veteran versus the rookie. But instead, we saw CM Punk battle Johnny Nitro, the two young and up-and-coming stars. Now, one did go on to become a star, while the other was a falling star. I guess you could say it was a Starship Pain. No? Nobody? Regardless, it still would have been cool to see CM Punk battle Chris Benoit to see who really is the best technical wrestler in the world. This next one is also surrounded by tragedy because it involves the late, great Eddie Guerrero. Now, at Survivor Series, initially, Eddie Guerrero was going to join Team SmackDown and face Raw. After that, Eddie was going to feud with his former friend Batista for the World Heavyweight Championship, and then he'd win. But then, of course, he'd lose, and that means that Eddie Guerrero would have made it to WrestleMania 22, where his opponent would have been the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels. Now, we'll never be able to see these two legends face off because of Eddie's death, but it would have been amazing for the WWE Universe to see the two Hall of Famers of Shawn Michaels and Eddie Guerrero do battle in the ring at WrestleMania. Rest in peace, Eddie. Viva la raza. But speaking of legends and WWE Hall of Famers, at WrestleMania 8, we saw two legends square off in Ric Flair and Macho Man Randy Savage for the WWE Championship. But originally, it wasn't supposed to be that match. We were going to see Ric Flair versus Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania 8. Now, this is any wrestling fan's wet dream, but of course, that dream was ended by the Sandman himself, Vincent Kennedy McMahon. Now, when Ric Flair signed with the WWE, or the WWF at that time, Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair faced off in a few house shows. But Vince McMahon felt that these matches weren't resonating with the fans like they should have, so he scrapped the match for WrestleMania. Now, these two legends did square off on a grand scale, once in WCW and then again in 2009. But by this time, the desire of the fans had already died down, and these two became way too old for any of this. I mean, who wants to see two old, wrinkled, grizzled men in tights wrestle in a WWE ring? Now, Chyna was dominant, and she could hold her own against any man. And at SummerSlam in 1999, she almost did, as originally she was going to be in the triple threat match for the WWE Championship. And even more than that, she was going to actually go over meaning that China would have been the first female WWE champion. What's really funny about this is that at the board meeting, when this was being pitched and Vince McMahon was spouting out whatever garbage comes to his head, there were actually people at that table saying, yeah, make China the WWE champion. That'll get asses in the seats. God. Anyway, obviously WWE opted against this and made China the Intercontinental Champion. Now some obviously didn't like this, but to me, it led to some good moments and got Sir Chris Jericho over. But I think this is a moment that WWE just wants people to forget. Now we all remember where we were the day the streak ended. The blanket of shock, confusion, and sadness that fell upon the WWE Universe when we saw 21-1 still lives in us today. However, what a lot of people don't know is that the streak was supposed to end years before. Now, though Brock Lesnar was always chosen to end the streak, he initially declined. So at WrestleMania 22, Mark Henry, in their casket match, was supposed to defeat The Undertaker and end the streak. But the world's strongest man to ever wear a salmon suit also declined. Then, that was going to go to the world champion at that time, Kurt Angle, who I guess you could say tapped out of the opportunity to beat the streak. Some other names that were supposed to end the streak were Batista, Kane, Shawn Michaels, Twice, Wade Barrett, Daniel Bryan, and Roman Reigns. The burden ultimately fell onto Brock Lesnar, who still didn't want to end it out of respect for The Undertaker. Really? That's what respect is, Brock. Beating a man lifeless where he can barely stand and then laughing about it. Nice, Brock. Real nice. So these were just a few of the canceled matches that I thought about. So leave a comment below and let me know what you think of these matches or any other matches that you know got canceled by WWE. Because, let's be honest, I didn't do a lot of research to do this. So, And if you could stand to listen to my voice, good on you. And while you're doing that, you should follow me on Instagram at Your Favorite Superstar. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube at R.L Smith. And if you like this, then maybe you'll like my podcast. I do it with some other buddies of mine who are wrestlers like me. It's called The Winner's Circle, and it's where us wrestlers review wrestling. So, thanks everybody. Hope you enjoyed. See you real soon.